approaches, numbers of bank clients are falling prey to scams. The latest is known as the money bomb, where criminals drop a roll of paper covered in genuine banknotes near the victim after they have transacted at an ATM. Now, the criminal then approaches the victim and suggests going to a remote location to share the fake money. They then robbed of the real money they withdrew, and the theft is often violent. Banks warn that different kinds of scams are rife during this time. And to discuss this further, we're joined in studio by Dr Christoph Nieuwoudt. He's the CEO of FNB Consumer. Good to have you in studio. Thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, Leah, nice to be here, although you paint quite a terrifying picture there.
Listen, that was not me. I didn't paint this picture, but it is. I'm scared myself. I'm scared to go to an ATM and suddenly find a money bomb dropped in front of me. But, you know, I suppose highlighting one when there are hundreds and hundreds of different scams out there. How rife is it?
Yeah, look, I think the attempts at committing fraud are rife, right? So, I mean, I think the biggest ones you would have seen, everybody would have probably received some emails, you know, making some offers. SMSs are rife now as well. When you get that SMS saying that, you know, if you're blacklisted, you can still get a loan at 3%. And even phishing where people are calling you and making offers, although that's less rare. You know, the modus operandi is actually very similar to what you were saying there. People offer you something that is not real, and then if you fall for it, you know, you're going to be the prey. And I think actually the behavioral economics behind it, this has been studied by Harvard economists, right? Where often they are actually trying to find customers that they make deliberate spelling mistakes, like in the 419 scams.
Yes.
They want to find customers that will actually fall prey to this, because then they can really milk you. So I think you have to be, you know, people have to have a little bit of, awareness around that. I mean, something is too good to be true. You know, it probably is.
I mean, that line, it's something we've said 100 times, but we can never say it enough. If it is too good to be true, if you see a big pile of money that suddenly dropped and someone says, come on, let's go around the corner and share it. I mean, it's not going to happen in the real world. Maybe on a movie set, but in the real world, that's a scam. And you can see a scam a mile away. I mean, I've often been with my domestic, and she's received these phone calls, and they're sort of promising her the world, and then she says to me, you know, they've promised me this. I said, Lena, do you really believe that? Do you honestly believe that you're going to get that if you just share your bank account details and all of this stuff? And she's like, well, but the reality is that people fall for it, and they fall for it daily. So what should we look out for? I know you said those little spelling mistakes, too good to be believed, it cannot be true. But what should we look out for?
I mean, I think the first thing is if you're receiving, you know, emails or SMSs, etc., even if you really thought it were true, right, and it was from a brand you trusted, don't click on the link that they send you. Go to the site of the company. But obviously, hopefully, you're going to a site of a company that you trust, right? Because otherwise, you know, you're going to fall for a lot of scams. I think if you're shopping, for example, online, a lot of people have fear of shopping online. You can do a lot of research on what's the best prices, etc. But you're probably going to end up somewhere with one of the major brands, because that's really who's got the distribution to get the product to you in any case. And I think often, if you're paying with your debit or your credit card and you're putting in the debit or credit card details, the banks have got quite sophisticated methods of keeping you safe. And I always say it's not just about the fraud itself. It's even when you're buying online, you know, you're not swiping your card or tapping it and getting the goods. The goods still have to get to you. So that company could either they are really fraudulent, or, you know, they go bust, like it's in the case of an airline, etc. And you can get your money back because you've got clawback rights. Yeah. Or if they don't deliver the goods, you still have rights to claw back the funds. So that's why you're actually very well protected if you're using your debit or credit card when you're buying online. Now, if you're entering your banking details and you're doing an EFT on an online basis, you know, that is the area where I would say we urge our customers not to do that.
So you would recommend rather, if you're buying online, enter your credit or debit card details as opposed to selecting the EFT option. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and debit or credit card, it costs the consumer nothing. If you're part of a loyalty program, you can even get rewards for it.
Some people think it would be safer, like, you know, at least I don't have my credit card details and I'm in control of my EFT. I know, you know, so that's a myth.
Yeah, look, if you're giving away your banking details and they can get into your online banking profile, you've really compromised yourself. That also puts you in a really bad position when you're trying to explain, like, how did this happen?
What happens when they go to those I don't know, what is it, pay fast, this fast, that fast, and it automatically pops up on your screen. And then they say to you, all right, so click your bank, put your online details. We've made it easy for you. You can just copy and paste.
Okay, we are very wary of third parties that are, they're not banks. Okay, so you're giving a non-bank party your personal details. How safe are they? Do they have the same, PCI standards as banks have to uphold? If you think about it, banks take care of a lot of money. Let's say total household consumption expenditure of 3 trillion rand. That's a lot of money. If I look at what let's say the gross bank fraud losses are from a customer perspective, it's about 3 basis points. That is 0.03%. Now that still ends up to be not such a small number.
Yeah.
But the losses are actually very, very small if you're working within the system.
Interesting. But one final question, I'm going to squeeze it in quickly. This tap method, people are often worried about the tap method, because it's sort of tap and go, and no PIN is needed, nothing is needed. How safe is it? Do you recommend people use it, or just rather stay away from it?
We absolutely promote it, right? So as I mentioned, actually, one of the biggest ways that fraudsters will get your details is, like in the old days, if you were in a restaurant, you'd give your card to somebody, they take it somewhere, they go and do something with it and bring the card back. You don't know if that card has been swiped, and they can get the PAN details, the details on the front of the card, the expiry date, etc. With that, they can actually commit online fraud. So therefore, tap actually means that you keep the card in your hand. You're not putting it even into a device. It's actually, it's very, very difficult for people to get to that information. That means that it actually remains safe in your hand, and it's obviously very convenient.
But there should be a limit, right? What is the limit on a tap?
Well, it does depend on the card, but yes, there are absolutely limits because, like you say, that card itself can be monetized.
Yeah.
If you have my card, you can go and you'll be able to buy a couple of cups of coffee and so on. With it, and that's the kind of loss that I think that we understand. Okay. But it is quite limited.
Yeah. All right. I could talk to you all day, Dr. Christoph Nieuwoudt. He's he's the CEO of FNB Consumer, just giving us a little bit of advice when it comes to shopping online, the fraud, the scams that are out there, everything that you've got to do with your money and your banking. Remember, it's going to get rife now as we enter into the Christmas season, and everybody is spending. So thanks again, Christoph. Thanks so much for the advice. We're taking a quick break, and then we're back to Durban for the NAVCOC conference that Sakina is at.